Good morning, guys. Oh, yeah. Oh, this morning they didn't have mocha or caramel, so we get regular old coffee. Still pretty good, though. I ain't gonna lie. It's better than no coffee, I tell you that. Oh, yeah. Look back there, yeah. I'm still driving around with that in the back. I've been calling that Nemo. You know why? Because Basshead's always trying to find that. Ain't that right, Nemo? Why am I talking to a battery? I'm just getting kind of weird. But anyway, guys, yeah. I got her stuck in the back still. I don't know. It's heavy, and I didn't feel like dragging it out when I got home from work last night. And I parked right in front of the tattoo shop with like cameras gleaming on it, so not even worried about somebody trying to steal it, because if you've ever been to Myrtle Beach, all the tattoo shops are in a row. And there's always tattoo artists out front smoking. So if they see somebody that don't belong, they'll probably shoot them. I don't know. But anyway, guys, yeah. What can we talk about today? Hell, I don't know. We'll talk about something. I just, I felt like I needed to do another little video. I didn't get a lot of views on my old roof work. And that... I thought it was a really good informative video. Just showing, like what base rides endure. And, with my old Jeep, it played low lows. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if it would have did a 160 at 20 hertz or not, but it would have definitely been in the high 50s. But them lows, and I think that hard hit, like with the prides in there, which the prides act real similar. Well, the synergies act really similar to how the prides did, with that just really hard hit at like 27 to 33 hertz is just like a pound. That and them like really low lows just break everything, and the damage that windshield channel took, guys. Which I know I'd have probably done a lot better if I wouldn't have put my road trip to get wood in the beginning of that video. But I was just trying to recap the weekend. But if you're on here and you really couldn't, get through that, just fast forward to where I start working on the roof. And I know some people are like, oh, God, them welds are terrible. I'll eat some good ones up there and some bad ones, I admit. A lot of it's cleaning that stuff up, but just the damage that I found up there, and how I fixed it, I had to get creative, but a lot of that wood and that sizzling up there, spray adhesive, God, cleaning that spray adhesive off was like a nightmare. I used everything from like carb cleaner to lacquer thinner to tar and grease remover, and it still, there's no way I can get all of it. You try to hit it with the old wire brush on the drill to get the majority that's left behind off to clean the steel up, so you can hit it with a flapper dish. You can't hit it with a flapper dish first, or it'll just like clog up the sandpaper on the flapper, and that'd just spread it back out everywhere. But it was a nightmare to weld all that. And then I kept blowing through it spots, and I don't know. Even turning the welder down, it was still like wanting to blow through. So yeah, I got it to a point where I'm happy with it. I did order 2 new fenders for the front. Hopefully they'll be here soon. I think my next step on that project is going and putting the single sheet of wood on the roof, and I have to take the wood out to Billy so he can help me do that, and I can get that in there. But I want to get that roof kind of secure, so when I get on top and start sanding and everything, it's not flopping around. And it's kind of dipped in right now. I want to get it back up because I don't want to spray the Raptor liner on it with a dip and then try to pop it up because I'm afraid it would crack. So that's kind of where I'm at with that thing. It's just turned into a whole lot more work, because when I took it to Billy's, it was just to get the windshield out and all that stuff welded and then bring back home and start to build. Well, it turned into putting doors on out there, and because I don't even know why, but I just wanted to put doors on out there. And then it turned into my buddy PJ, like, we can Raptor line this bad boy. So here we are. Now, some of you guys have asked about the old Cmax. I think I stated in the last video, I want to build a 45 amp hour for the wife's daily driver. It has 2 FI custom built Q15s in it. So right now it's on them 2 Audio Legion 1600s. I got like 1 per sub at 0.8. Beast little amps. God, they surprised me. And you know, they're a Korean made amp, but I want to take them out and put her Vital Power back in there, because I mean, that car, it gets down with them 2 little amps, but it was really beast with the Vital Power. It's just right now, all she's got in there is 40 amp hour a yin long. And that don't nowhere near compare to a 45 Cmax. So yeah, I want to build one, put in there, but I decided I'm gonna take this to Billy's and we're gonna do a teardown video of opening this case. That way you guys can see, like, you know, the full module getting ripped down to what's inside. I think a lot of people are curious about that, because most of you guys that know about Cmax, all you ever see is either a fully built bank or one of the sleeves, you know. So I think it'd be cool to do a video showing you guys a teardown of what's actually in here. And then we're going to tear a sleeve down and build a 45. So we'll get to show you all that. I'm going to go through and like test every cell, you know, just hit it with the old multimeter and get a good reading on it and make sure it's good and you know, visually inspect. But I think it'd be cool. And I've had actually a couple comments ask for that, you know, doing a build. I know for sure I'm building one. Actually, I'm going to build 2 45s. It's going to be easier on me. I've got 2 options, really. I can build the second 45 and put it in my Jeep. Put it in the Blazer. Put it in here. I was thinking about putting it in here on the 2 1600.1s, you know, the Audio Legions. And she's dual 4. So I can wire, she's already wired in the series, actually. Or not series, she's already paralleled. The coils are paralleled. My bad, I don't even know why I said that. But yeah, they're paralleled to a 2 ohm load. And I did look at the manual for the old Audio Legions. They are strappable. So if I strap them, they'll be strapped at 2 ohm load, which is going to be 1 ohm per amp. So I think that'd be really good. I think they would get down in here, you know. And I'm getting a new enclosure built for that at some point. A really nice one. My buddy Josh at Elite Euro is going to hook me up with an enclosure for this, so we can do some cool videos in here and try. I'm going to try to get this thing to a 50 at some point. Not anytime soon, but I'd like to just, you know, single 15 with this big cabin, get a 150 out of it. I think it's possible. Them 2 Audio Legions will probably do it all day. We just definitely need a better enclosure. When that enclosure was built, it was built for my daughter in mind, who listened to everything from like Megan Thee Stallion to Old Black Sabbath, and we had to tune her kind of high. And it don't have a whole lot of port area. It's not a super big enclosure, so we're gonna go big enclosure, like 3.5 to 4 cubes with a lot of port area tuned really low to try to get that efficiency up. We try to get the efficiency. We're not so much worried about the power handling, which is why we're going a lot bigger, because, you know, if you build an enclosure to handle like more power than the RMS on the sub, you need to shrink it down some. Keep the cone control and everything alive. But if you're going to run low power, build the enclosure quite a bit bigger. And with the right port area and some good tuning and everything, you wind up with a lot more efficient enclosures. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. I got a 45 amp hour headway in here right now, 48 amp hour headway, and you know, it's doing good. I got to put an alternator on here. I just haven't had time. I got one. I just laying on the back floorboard back here. I got an alternator. It's a high output. I think it's only like a 200 amp though, but it's still, it was on the blue Jeep at one point, and it actually did good. We clamped it on the Jeep and it did pretty decent numbers, you know, like just with a slight rev. I think we got 120 out of it, and that wasn't really loaded down. You load it down and put, so I think it's going to be a lot better than what's on here. It's just that that alternator, I got to grind the brackets and everything to put it on. It ain't like a direct swap. I definitely need an alternator for this at some point, but I'll get to that. I might throw on a 320 at some point, and I don't know, should I put the 45 Cmax in here? Like I said, I got enough in here to build 2 45s. So I was thinking, you know, one in the wife's daily, one in here. Then everything we own has Cmax in it. The wife's Edge, this black Jeep, the blue Jeep, the Blazer, everything will be on Cmax. Or should I add it to the Jeep? I don't think it needs it in the Jeep. The Blazer don't have great voltage, but it only has one alternator. So I do, like, one of the first things I got to do, I had an alternator coming. I don't know what happened with that deal. So I went ahead and ordered the dual bracket setup, and I was planning on doing like a nice dual bracket video and everything install on the Blazer, and I think the alternator deal kind of fell through. I ain't heard from the guy that was giving me a deal on an alternator. I was going to do a good review on his, alternator and the double install at the same time. I don't know what happened there. So I still got to get an alternator for that, because the Blazer's got the same battery bank as my Jeep, same amps and everything. It's just her voltage dips a little quicker than mine. But I have 2 alternators, she has 1, so that's where everything comes in with that. I just kind of need to put in a secondary alternator on hers. We'll be fine. A lot of dump trucks today. But anyway, guys, I guess it's about time for me to head to work. I got 2 appointments this morning. Older ladies. Yeah, it is what it is. But G2Daudio.com. I do have a shirt on there. It's got my JAL logo. And for those of you that watch my channel, you know, you've kind of been on here and seen me, the rough draft of the design of that logo. I turned it into the logo that's going to go on the roof and the blue Jeep. And now it's on a shirt with like a really abstract pic of my ugly mug. They got my eyes really crazy. But hey, if you want a shirt, go to G2D Audio, which is G2 Dynamics. Just go on there and if you type in Jerry, it's going to pull up that shirt. So that's kind of like the first official ever merch that I have ever done. You know, I've designed some shirts, and I had on Teespring and Bonfire and stuff. But this is the first actual Jerry Ain't Loud merch. I'd appreciate you guys picking one up, because everything helps me at all. Actually, I got one ordered myself. I had to order one from there, because me and Paul collabed on the thing. And, you know, he's selling them at his website for me, which I really appreciate him for doing that. And, you know, he sponsors a lot of my videos. And I'm always looking for video sponsors too, guys. Everything, like I said, every little bit helps. But I do have, that's my first official shirts. It's on there. Chevy Black, if some of you guys are Chevy Black fans. Sorry, breakfast was hanging around. Chevy Black has his Major League Demo shirts on there. And then Paul actually designed a shirt with a little like 6.5-inch white subwoofer on the couch with a bunch of the Genesis subs behind it. Y'all know what that's from. I think it was funny. But yeah, anyway, I do have merch on there. So I had to order one myself because I don't have them in my hands. I'm not making my own t-shirts, or I don't have the money right now to have like 100 shirts made, shipped to my house, and then ship them to you guys. I just don't have the funds to do that. Now, that's going to be my first shirt. I'm designing a sticker that I'm gonna try to get Paul to throw on his website also. And after we get the Jeep back together with the new Raptor line job and everything, I'm trying to get Jacob Scott to do a cartoon version of it. But I'm gonna find somebody that's really good at doing cartoons, because I've tried I'm an artist. I've tried doing a cartoon version, but I've been like tattooing so long, everything I draw is like in tattoo format. I know that don't make no sense to a lot of you guys, but when you tattoo, everything has to be drawn in like certain outline form, or lack thereof outline, but with shade guides in it, where you would do the shading to make things. And I can't get my head out of that. You know, to draw a cartoon, it needs to be thick, bold line. I just can't seem to get it. I'm a failure at that. But anyway, I am going to have a second release t-shirt coming out that will be of the Jeep when it's done. But anyway, guys, that's all I got. For you guys to support my Patreon, thank you guys very much. And the YouTube memberships, man, that really helps me a lot. And for you watching my videos, thank you guys too, because I couldn't do none of this if y'all didn't watch it. And if you're planning on buying one of my shirts, they are pretty dope, I must admit. You know, if you plan on getting one, thank you very much. But that's going to be all for this video, guys. Peace out and bass on.